This is a misprint biofusion enforcer that I've had for quite a while. And this is kind of my workhorse long range disc. If I had to go out to a field or go out to a tournament with only 3 discs and it had to be a mid-range, a putter, a fairway, and a driver, this would be my driver. I can throw hyzer shots, I can throw turnover shots. Now, it's going to come out, it still is an enforcer, but it's a relatively beat up bio enforcer, and so there's a little less stability than your run-of-the-mill enforcer. But I can throw spike shots with this, I can throw long power hyzers, I can throw flat shots that will hyzer out at the end. A lot of different things I can do with this disc. And if I need a step up in stability from there, I'm gonna go with my Lucid enforcer. I've had this one for quite a while. Like I said, I've got a lot of backups. So as you can see the difference in the stamps, this one's been thrown quite a bit and this one a lot less. This is my slightly more stable enforcer. This pretty much solves any sort of headwind problems. If I need a big hyzer, if I need a spike, this will do it. If the wind is just really screaming, I'll step up to the newer version. But for the most part, this is what gets me done if hyzer is being requested.
This is a biofusion enforcer. Anything spike hyzer, anything I need to get finished hard left, and anything that is going to go up and over the top, I'm going with my dynamic disc enforcer.
I have 2 of them in my bag, but they're pretty similar. I mostly keep one as a backup in case I lose one of the other ones. But again, they're lightweight. They're 169. They're both 169, I believe. And they're just an overstable distance driver. They come back every time. They don't get a lot of turn, so if I really need kind of a straight shot that has pretty far and hard fade, I'll use these bad boys. Again, they're not really different. This is the one I use most often, and they just consistently fade and just super overstable and can handle any type of headwind, which I really enjoy.
I carry 2 enforcers. One of them is just a fusion enforcer. It's blank. This is brand new. It's pretty overstable from the get-go. And the other one that I carry is a hybrid enforcer. And this disc is, I've had it for a little while, so it tends to go straight, but still has a good stability at the end. Really one of my go-to drivers, especially into the winds and stuff.
I carry, looks like 3 enforcers right now, and one of them's a Lucid that is just overstable. Really only comes out of the bag if it's super windy or if I need that big skip shot. The other 2 are going to be bio enforcers. Pretty much the same disc, just like to have a backup just in case. This disc, I can't remember the year it came out, but this one has been in my bag since then, and it has been amazing. I love this disc. If I'm playing a course where it's kind of tight OBs, but I need a lot of distance, that's when I'm throwing the Biofusion Enforcer. I can rip it out there relatively flat, maybe a slight hyzer, and know that it's gonna fly straight and finish left. I can put a lot of power on it, and I can get quite a bit of distance out of this disc.
I've noticed with the Enforcer, it doesn't tend to fade off really hard like the Defenders do. So it's really good if you have a tight fairway where you need to keep the disc straight and finish straight, not have it tail off really hard. Keeps the big distance that you need, has overstability that you need without really a very hard fade at the end. So that I like.
I've got 3 enforcers in here. This is a Biofusion enforcer, and it is very well worn in. I've got it to where I can throw it out flat and it'll hold a straight line for a long ways before hooking up and acting like an enforcer again. So you've got a good long flight down a tunnel or something like that, and then a hard finish. The other 2 are both Lucids. This one just rotated into the bag. I needed a brand new one that I could count on a little more for the anhyzer release and then have it hook up. And this one is pretty well beat in. I've had it in the bag for a few years now, and it's just a very dependable, turn it loose even into a headwind and know that it's going to come back and it's going to be an aggressive fighter. And this is probably between also 375 to 400 foot, but I have to release it with an anhyzer to get it to go that far.
This one's a Biofusion Enforcer. My dad didn't like it, like it was too overstable for him, so I threw this one, and I threw it on a little hyzer. It went up straight and just glided. And it's my not as far as my Defender, but I can still get it out there close to where the Defender lands.
This one's mainly for sidearm. It's a little more beat up. I can trust to throw it pretty hard and flat and know that it's always going to finish back right on that sidearm. I can throw it for more straight backhand shots as well. I put a new one in just recently just to have that slightly less beefy fusion style enforcer, so I can trust that I can still throw it on for hyzer shots, but I know it's not going to dump into the ground. I carry 3 fusion enforcers. The fusion enforcer is one of my favorite discs. I trust it in every kind of conditions, tailwinds, everything. This white one's a little more beat up, great for those longer flex shots, can go as far as my Defender sometimes, but has a little bit stronger finish. So really nice. These are great, has the pop top that you're looking for that stable flight. I have 2 green ones from the same batch, overstable with that pop and that heartbeat. Trust like exactly what they're gonna do every single time. I know I'm getting that sure finish left, and I can throw them pretty much as hard as I want.
This is basically the most manly disc that ever existed, and it's pretty awesome. This is a 168, but it's the most overstable enforcer I've ever thrown. So any headwind, any forehand that I need to throw into some wind or a crosswind or something, this is the disc that I use. And then I've got a couple of Biofusion enforcers here. This one's a little bit more new, so it's more stable, but I can still get a little bit of work, like maybe not quite turn, but a little bit more ride out of it than I would a brand new Fusion or brand new Lucid because of the Biofusion plastic. So these are good workhorses for me. Straighter shots. This one will even turn for me if I need to.
This disc has quickly grown to be one of my favorite drivers I have in my bag. I think 9 times out of 10, if I'm throwing a driver, it will be this. I'm throwing it really hard and flat, and letting it pop up to flat and ride the hyzer line. I call this a push hyzer. Bobby's asked me what that means before. So how do I describe it is I'm throwing it on a hyzer angle, and it'll push on that hyzer angle without actually hyzering. So it just goes really far and very, very, very reliable, straight and left finish.
Now the first one I have is a Biofusion. It's the first enforcer I got from Dynamic, and it is not an enforcer anymore. I've beat this thing up so much that it flies exactly like the most perfect trespass you could ever imagine. Very fast, understable, but still hyzers back at the end. I use this a lot in the woods. It's also kind of like a stable roller. I don't have a trespass in the bag, but this is why. If I ever lose this disc, I'm gonna have to throw a trespass in, brand new, and I know it'll act the same as this. But really love this enforcer for kind of long turnovers, hyzer flips, really straight shots. And the other 2 are white Fusion, and they both, as you can see, have some dome on the top. Very, very overstable. This was given to me by Pete Casham from Kansas City. It's got the 2014 GBO stamps on it. Most overstable disc in my bag, I would think, at least the distance driver that I throw. Got this quad stamp one. It's pretty much the backup to that. I carry them both because you never know if I throw one in, if I'm throwing around water, if I lose one, I want to have the same disc in the bag that I can go to. And I know it flies exactly the same. You can pretty much go grab any enforcer and it's going to be very overstable. It's going to fight the wind. Doesn't go quite as far as the Defender, but it still goes pretty far.